Every student is asked this one simple question: what do you want to do with your life? Now, to a parent or an adult, it's a question out of care or curiosity. But to a student, it can feel like a lot of pressure because it feels like you need to know everything you're going to do and when. But that's not the case with a lot of high school students especially. There's a lot going on and they don't know. I didn't know what I was going to do. But that left me feeling behind because of all the questions, because of the conversations. It felt like everyone was handed a map and I was still searching for mine. I was lost. I didn't know where to go. But what I've since realized is that life isn't built off of a single plan that you make one day. It's built with all of the little decisions that you make, all of the little accidents, every step that you take forward that leads you down the path, even when you don't know where it's going to go. For me, my journey began when I joined Boy Scouts in 5th grade. I didn't exactly know what I was doing. I didn't know what the program was, but my older brother had joined the year before, and my dad was an Eagle Scout. So I figured I'd give it a shot. Now, what I started to learn about myself was I loved the outdoors. I loved being in nature. So I decided to stay. The decision didn't feel big at the time, but what I realized was it kept me moving forward. It started me on my journey of growth. So when I walked in that first day, joining the troop, I saw the kid that was leading standing up in front, all confident, and I just thought to myself, I could never do that. I have never had people rely on me. I've never been a leader, so I was always scared. Going into my 2nd year in Scouts, it was time that I took on responsibility. I started by being a patrol leader, taking charge of just a couple kids my age, but eventually I moved on to being an instructor, taking charge of a larger group, and teaching the younger Scouts what I learned through my first year. It was scary, and I kept taking on more responsibility and taking each tiny little step, but ultimately, I climbed, and I learned, and I grew with every challenge that I took on. Eventually, I climbed my way through the ranks of scouting. I took on lots of responsibility, but there were no smaller steps left to go. I'd reached kind of the end before the top. So that was when my adult scoutmaster pulled me aside and asked me, "Do you feel ready to lead this troop?" My honest answer, no way. I was still terrified. All the fears of having people rely on me. Am I good enough? Am I going to fail? Can I be who they expect me to be? I wasn't sure, but all I knew was I wasn't going to stand still. So I took that next step, and I became the senior patrol leader. I took on the responsibility, and I learned that confidence isn't the first thing to come. You're not born with it or you aren't. It's something that comes with the momentum that you build. It's all of the lessons that you learn, all of the skills that it takes time to develop. Each step gets you closer to confidence. Now, for me, that didn't all come at once. It was a slow process. It was all of the challenges that I dealt with, making plans when I didn't know what was going to change, and dealing with people that were challenging or who challenged my ideas and fought back. But through all of it, I learned and grew and took another step forward. What I didn't realize at the time was that it was preparing me for my next plan, or for the next part of my life. Because when I went into high school, I decided to join junior ROTC, partly because I had a respect for the military and because I thought it was cool, but mostly because I needed my PE credits. So I joined, but what I started to realize was it felt familiar. And I realized that it was from Scouts. It was It was a different environment, but it was all of the same skills. It was learning how to take responsibility and take that next step forward even when you don't feel prepared. So I did. I started taking on responsibility, and because I learned quickly, more responsibility followed. It started off small, just leading a squad, or teaching drill, or helping the younger cadets, but eventually it began to pile up. By my junior year, I was in charge of the color guard team, so I was going to all of these events just about every week, while also having other responsibilities in the program, and being a high school junior, still trying to study for my SATs. All of it began to feel overwhelming, and I was really stressed out, something that I hadn't really felt before. But I looked back, and I realized I had done hard things before. How was this any different? So instead of seeing these challenges and this stress as a roadblock or something to stop me from moving forward, I took it as a challenge. I took it as an opportunity to prove to myself that I could handle more than I thought I could. So when it became time to apply for leadership positions going into my senior year, I decided to aim high. I applied for the commanding officer position, which is the highest that a cadet can hold in this program. I wasn't confident. There was never a point where I knew that this was what I wanted to do, or that I was going to make it at all. But I took the risk, took the step forward, and eventually, all of the momentum that I had been building from 5th grade through Scouts, through all of the earlier years of ROTC, it carried me to somewhere I never thought I would get. So, for the past year, I've been the commanding officer at ROTC here at Redondo. And every day, I've continued to build on the same skills and the same lessons that I was learning back in 5th grade, but in a new environment. It's all still stress, it's still leadership and responsibility, so it's the same skills no matter what step forward you take. It just looks a little different. Now, all of this was without a plan. I didn't know exactly where I was going. I was just kind of walking down the path and seeing where it led. It wasn't until last year when I saw my friend earn the Navy ROTC scholarship that I knew what I wanted to do. And this was when it kind of hit me. Once I learned about this scholarship that would essentially pay my way through college and lead to me being an officer in the Marine Corps after graduation, I knew that this was what I had to do, and I realized I had never tried to prepare for this. This wasn't an end goal. But because of the momentum that I had built through Scouts and through ROTC, I had prepared myself for it almost by accident. When the opportunity was there, I was ready. So really what matters is that you don't need a roadmap. You don't need every goal planned out. You don't need to know where you're going to take that next step forward. Take that unsure step. Take a risk. Join something. Take responsibility. And do something that feels a little scary. Just don't stop moving. Keep the momentum going, because in the end, momentum will carry you further than certainty ever could. Thank you.